We all know those GLP-1 injections work wonders, but that price tag almost gave me a heart attack when my insurance denied coverage. I was staring at a choice between paying my mortgage or paying for weight loss. Talk about a rock in a hard place. Then I found Elevate Health compounded semaglutide at just $58 with payment plans that don't require a second mortgage. Same medication, same results, but a price that real folks can actually afford. Visit joinelevate.com today. That's JOINELEVATE.com. Your wallet will be as happy as your waistline. This medication is not FDA approved.
Hi, babes, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Final FronTia. It's me, your diva, Tia Kofi. And on this week's episode, we have got an Australian icon, a drag race finalist, the host of Eurovision for Australia, and the host of the podcast, Oh No, it's icon, legend, and star, Courtney Act. That was meant to be Australian. Play the theme tune. This is the start of the podcast.
This is it. We've begun.
Hello, welcome.
I mean, we have already discussed coffee enemas, bike riding. I don't know if we've got anything left.
No, that's it.
Your fear and loathing and dread of the world at large.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of that at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's a universal experience right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And here we are at Universal Music. Ding.
Oh, nice plug. I feel like you have like such a unique way of bringing that kind of conversation out of people.
I think it's my Vanity says it's my superpower. I've never thought about it and never knew. And then I remember her saying, like, I just remember you watching you at Stonewall when you were 21, walking up to a stranger, having like a deep and meaningful conversation, probably the most like important conversation the person would have in their life. And I was like, what? And she was like, you just somehow like get in there.
It's like a sense. Like you really do have that as a quality.
I crave the deep and meaningful.
What's your star sign?
Aquarius, but I'm also not an atheist, so I don't believe in anything.
Yeah, I always ask people like, what's your star sign? And then I realize that I don't think it's real. But
well,
for
people
some reason,
always ask it. And then I'm like, I think they're like, they know what their star sign is.
Yeah.
They might know something about like an ex-lover's star sign or a parent's star sign. But if you say Aquarius and they've never dated or are related to an Aquarian, they're like,
yeah, I asked it and I was like, I don't know if that's relevant. I have no idea.
What's your star sign?
I'm a Libra.
Oh, see, that's what you do when...
Yeah, but what does it even mean? I feel like
Libra's balance.
Yeah, but I do feel like I balance in the extremes.
I just feel like star signs are... Well, that's also balance. This is what like... Balance can be like this or it can be like...
Very
like
that. Yeah.
But I just think like star signs are like perhaps a nice way for people to recognize qualities in themselves that they like and tell other people about them.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it a bit far-fetched that like everybody born between like this date and this date has something in common.
Well, I mean, it kind of sometimes makes sense because we have like school years and I feel like if you're the oldest one in your school year, you're going to have like leadership qualities or like certain characteristics that are an advantage. But humble brag, I was moved up a year at school. So it doesn't make any sense. Like I should have been the oldest in the year below, but then I was the youngest in the year above.
But is that like related to where the stars and planets were aligned on the day you were born? Or is it just like fact of you being older? Or were you smarter?
Well, I think it has
both.
Probably. But I think
taller.
It has nothing to do with the stars. I feel like it's the same energy as like back in the days when it was permissible to have this kind of conversation. It's the same energy as people being like, oh my God, I'm a Slytherin. You know?
Yeah. And I think that like, I mean, at least Slytherin is self-identification.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with star signs, I think if you read anyone else's star sign and you change the label to your star sign, you'll notice the things in that star sign that you like about yourself. And you'll be like, yeah, that's such a Libra thing. And then you realize you're reading a Taurus star sign and you're like, oh. But I think they're just nice ways for people to like share with other people things about themselves that they might not feel comfortable platforming. Just be like, I'm somebody who is very compassionate. Instead, they might say, I'm a whatever star sign is compassionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do see that. It's sort of just holding up a mirror to yourself and like having a moment of self-reflection.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, people should do that a little bit more.
But I feel like when people say, oh my God, I would never date a Virgo, I feel like you're cutting your nose off to spite your face there.
A little bit. And even like further than that, I feel like with TikTok, this is not how I thought our conversation was going to go, but with the sort of like social media TikTok generation, I feel like people's like self-diagnosis, live your life, but diagnosis of other people is a bit wild to me. Like the number of people in my life who are like, oh my God, like you're so ADHD. And I'm like, what?
Excuse me?
What medical profession do you have that I didn't know about?
But even self-diagnosis, like, because there's so much pseudoscience psychobabble on Instagram and you see like these memes pop up and I read it and I'm like, oh, I guess I do have those qualities. And the thing is that like there's many things about, I guess, an ADHD like types that every person possesses like the tropes of ADHD, but to a lesser degree or to a degree that doesn't cause struggle in themselves. And I always think like, I don't know, there's a lot of like people identifying with pathologized labels of mental health, which can be helpful because there's more conversation about it now. And people who are genuinely struggling with mental health are able to find help where they weren't before because they can identify it, they can seek help. But then I do notice that there's like a generation of people who are like identifying with labels and using labels as, I don't want to say excuses, it sounds victim blamey, but like taking on the burden of a label and feeling like they have no control over that.
Yeah, it's almost like, in a way, it comes full circle and takes like the agency away from the individual to like, is almost less empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I was listening to, you know, Mel Robbins, the Let Them lady. She's written a New York Times bestseller book called Let Them.
I think I do. Yes. Yeah.
And so I like tech podcasts. That's a random fact. And I listened to this podcast called Pivot and she was on there and she was talking and she's kind of got that like boomer, like get over it, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps kind of mentality. Yeah. Which wasn't always helpful. But then I think we've like swung so far the other way. When I was listening to her, I was like, yeah, there is a moment where like I accept that there are greater struggles for people in different areas of different backgrounds and experiences. And I recognize privilege and I recognize all of the sort of the hierarchies and systems and structures of power. But then also as an individual, there's this moment where you go like, okay, all of those things are true. The deck might be stacked against me, but what can I do to like uplift myself in this situation? And I feel like maybe that bit sometimes gets missing and people just get stuck. Like Gen Z, they talk about Gen Z being like depressed and wallowing in like pity and misery and like the burden of the world. And I get it, but also like only got one life.
Yeah.
Snap out of it.
There's like a midpoint, isn't there? Because it is like hard. I feel like I have this conflict. Sorry, Producer Poppy, to out you as a Gen Z, but like I have such a millennial outlook when I'm talking to Producer Poppy about things because like the world is actually on fire and burning and bad, but like there are things that we can do about that within our own sphere to make the world a little bit better every day. And that's something that I try and like almost aggressively force myself into. I listened to something that was like, why don't we show up for other people? Like this mentality that people have now of being like, oh, like, you know, self-care, like I can't come to your birthday because I'm tired, or like, oh, I'm going to miss your wedding because like I'm a bit like...
I need a Menti B day.
Yeah, I'm burnt out, so I can't...
Menti
H? Yeah. Menti H because of the Menti B.
Menti B.
But like I can't come to your wedding because like burnout. But like, yes, I agree, take time for yourself, but also like we do need to show up for other people because that in itself sort of like breeds like positivity, energy, like that kind of thing. I barely go out anymore.
My manager said to me recently, we've been together for like 17 years and we have a very good relationship and I appreciate that she said this. I'll preface it with that. She was like, you know, Shane, sometimes people have to do jobs that they don't want to do. And I was like, oh, I said, well, thus far, I haven't. But I guess I will say yes to this one because I need to pay my mortgage. But it was kind of that thing of like, I think that like historically we think about things in binaries or polarized ways. And I think that like if this idea of like, if we look at this idea of gender, right, and it being on a spectrum, and like some people don't get that, but I think a lot of people probably listening to this do, that like there's masculinity, there's femininity, and we all occupy a different space along that. And we have bits of masculinity, we have bits of femininity.
Yeah.
It exists on a binary, but it's in a spectrum and you're somewhere along that sort of sliding scale. And I think that if we thought about everything else in that same way, if we took that thinking to like, it's important to have boundaries and say, no, I don't want to do this because I don't feel up to it. But it's also important to show up for people and sometimes do things that you don't want to do. And I think it's finding that balance. And I think so often because of negative experiences or maybe opinions we have about certain types of people who maybe someone's an emotional vampire.
Yeah.
And like, I remember when I was younger, certain people who were like emotional vampires and I was like, I don't ever want to be that. Therefore, I'll have no emotions because I don't ever want to be that person who is an emotional burden on someone else.
Right.
And so then for like years, I was like very Willem, like emotions are for ugly people, kind of like, didn't think that, but that was a Drag Race quote. But just like I would bottle up my emotions and think that rationalizing emotions was like healthy. But I realized that like rationalizing emotions is actually not feeling emotions. It's bottling them up. Yeah. And so then through like different things, meditation retreats and things that I did, I learned about being able to feel emotions. And I understood that not all emotions are bad. In fact, emotions are really important and that having emotions didn't mean you had to be an emotional vampire. You could actually be like a healthy, emotionally regulated person that had emotions and rationality existing in one thing that was like balanced and happy and healthy. And I was like, oh, that feels much nicer to me than being like a robot.
That is very interesting. And that resonates because I get it from like a different perspective. When I started therapy, shout out to therapy, it's great. But when I started therapy, I thought I was like so in tune with like emotions and like I totally got it. And they'd ask me questions like just after my mum passed away, my therapist would be like, and how do you feel about that? And I'd say, I'm really worried about my dad because he's on his own now. He'd go, no, how do you feel about that? And I'd say, oh, sorry, I get it. I feel worried about my dad. It took me, honestly, like 2.5 years to go, oh my God, I'm not feeling my own feelings. I'm feeling everything for everyone else.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was doing that.
Yeah.
But like that totally connects with your point about sort of like distancing yourself from your own feelings, almost like as protection.
Yeah. And sometimes like particularly when we're younger, it all goes back to childhood. It all goes back to the parents.
Yeah.
But like it all goes back to like those experiences when we were younger that maybe someone in a position of like authority, like a parental figure or somebody like that wasn't able to emotionally regulate. And then you had to take on a parentified role to sort of understand what someone else's feelings were going to be as a kid when you're supposed to just be free and expressive. And so then you grow up learning that you have to read the room when you walk into it and that you don't have space for your feelings or that you have to consider other people's feelings before your own. And so, learning how to be in touch with your feelings. I think it's funny, right? Because the word feelings we think of as like, I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling happy. And having more specific labels for more specific experiences is really helpful to be able to label and understand more nuanced kind of things. But then also like feelings are actual feelings like on your body.
Physical, yeah.
Yeah, like when you feel sad. So the pathways of emotion and feeling are like let's say you see something through one of your sense doors, touch, taste, sight, smell, hearing.
Yeah.
Let's say you see an ex-boyfriend. So that like goes into your eyes, cognition, recognition. You sort of like flip through a little library and you're like, oh, that's my ex-boyfriend. And then that little library in your brain has like a sensation saved to it. And so like your body emits chemicals that are like, let's say it's anger. And like like your chest tightens, you feel heat come up. And those sensations on your body, those like chemical reactions that happen in your body, then tell your brain, oh, I'm angry. Like your thinking brain feels those feelings and is like, that's anger. And so when people talk about feelings as like happy, sad, and those sorts of descriptions, they're actually talking about words that are signposts for chemical reactions that happen in their body.
Yeah.
And so there's this idea of like embodiment of feeling the physical sensations of your body, and just sitting with those is feeling your feelings. And I feel like maybe, I don't know, I feel like I never knew that.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't know that like, does your therapist ever say like, what are you feeling in your body right now?
Yeah, I that's what I was like.
I've got a fart.
I was like reflecting on that because I've had that quite a lot, and I struggle with that sort of like, oh, it's in my chest, like my chest feels tight, or like, oh, I can sort of like feel like a pain at the back of my head. Like I struggle with like placing that, but it is real. Yeah. Like that is actually...
That's the science of it. Yeah. Like that's the actual how feelings and emotions work in our brain and in our body. So I think like the more people know that, and I think we're so accustomed to distraction of like our phones, things around us, that like actually being able to have the ability to be present and feel what's going on in your body takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
I guess like right now, like something like a gross sensation, like I've got like pain in my lower back, but like that's a feeling, but we don't think of it as like an emotional feeling.
Yeah.
But kind of coming to see and identify what you can physically feel in your own body, starting with the more gross sensations. Over time, you sort of start to get more aware of the more nuanced sensations, like things like my heart's beating fast, or like a flush of, you know, heat. Like you kind of know those, and you can, I think we can all be like, oh yeah, I totally know what that means. Like I've been angry and I felt, but yeah, becoming more aware of those over time, I think enables us to feel our feelings, and then we have ownership over them and are able to like make a more in-tuned decision to be more embodied.
I've had to do like quite a lot of work on like grounding and like being able to make myself stay present. And it's made me realize like a lot of like this is a therapy session now, quite like things that are probably obvious to people. Like I have a lot of anxiety, particularly when I'm like performing on a big stage. And I would always have like 3 coffees and 12 Red Bulls before I went on, because I'm like, I need to be pumped to get there. Not realizing that like the act of putting caffeine in my body does speed up your heart rate, which is also what anxiety does.
Yeah.
And like all of these things combined were just making all of the feelings worse, because I was having a physical, chemical impact on my own body.
So now you drink heavily before going on stage to take the edge off.
Of course. but genuinely, like I never realized that, even though like intellectually it makes sense. Yeah. Like I know what caffeine does, I know what anxiety does.
Yeah.
But would never put them together because I thought feelings were like this intangible concept, but they are in the body.
Yeah, that's like a great example of like how a physical stimulant, I mean it's a literal stimulant, but like something from the outside world can compound and layer up on things that you're already feeling. Yeah. So like what do you do now? Like do you have a different process now before you go on stage to avoid that happening?
I feel like I'm actually on your podcast. That's what's happened now. I do have a bit of a different process, and it does depend on the show. And I mean this like not in an offensive way to like any shows that I have done, but like if it's like a certain event, I can rationalize it as like, I need to find a better way of saying it, because it's not that it's not important. It's very important to the people that are there, and I care very much about like the audience enjoying it. I think I've been able
less nerves about some gigs because you feel more in control.
Yeah. I guess the pressure, I can take the pressure off myself, because I know that I now believe that I have the capability of providing the entertainment.
And also maybe like, this is a good way, those people are going to love you like regardless. And so you can go on stage and just like feel comfortable with them.
Yeah, I think that's very much it. Yeah. Because before I used to think, this is now coming into Drag Race territory, but particularly post Drag Race, I was like, I came 7th. I have something to prove. Like need everyone to like understand that like I was great the whole time and like my clothes have gotten better and my makeup's better and like I can also buy a wig.
Yeah.
Like, which I couldn't at the time of season 2, but like I felt like I had something to prove.
Yeah.
And then going back to Drag Race, I felt like I had even more to prove.
And then you did prove it.
Many would disagree, but like
okay.
I felt like I did prove it, and I got to the end and I did everything that I wanted to do, and I wasn't really there to win. I was there to get to that top 2 because I had a whole journey mapped out that I was wearing this outfit on the first episode because home country is always the first one and that represents my family and my heritage, and then the outfit I'm wearing for the final lip sync is an homage to like my family and my heritage, and it's for them and for me and for friends that I borrowed the wig off and like all of these things. So I had my own trajectory and proved that, but still felt this pressure afterwards because of the reaction from people. I don't know if you used to feel the same, like the way
I still do. I was
Really?
actually I was like riding a bike here thinking about this. Yesterday I was riding a bike and I was having like a therapy session with ChatGPT. Is that weird?
No, that's
like,
great.
I know that it's not quite capable, but I know its limitations, and I'm like, I know I can use you to talk about something that I don't want to pay a therapist or can't get to a therapist about.
Yeah.
I don't want to bore a friend with like this really like micro dumb topic. And I'm like, I'm riding along like with my AirPods in, like talking quite loudly so ChatGPT can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm like stopped at the lights and like, yeah. And I just really feel that. And then ChatGPT starts talking. I'm like, wait, I'm not finished yet. But I was this idea of like performance anxiety on stage, not in the bedroom, like being in the top 3 of season 6 of Drag Race with Bianca and Adore, who like at that time we had so much fun creating the show, like being there, filming it.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us knew who was going to win from being in the room.
Okay.
Like, I think we all thought, like, I remember because we were a top 4 until like the day before because it's all filmed in advance. And I remember Adore and Bianca and I all thinking that Darian was going to win because she was so amazing in the final episode on the acting challenge, in the music video. Like, she was just like so slick and phenomenal. And then she was the one who went home and didn't make it through the top 3. And so I feel validated in saying that none of us really knew who was going to win. Like watching it, you're like, oh, obviously Bianca or maybe Adore, but not Courtney kind of thing.
Oh.
I feel like that was what the audience felt at the time, at least.
I don't know if I like necessarily agree entirely, but you were there. So I feel like I have to like trust your instincts on it.
Were you watching it at the time? Like, do you remember your feelings at the time watching it?
I'm trying to sort of like flash back to that.
I feel like the general consensus, and this is the other thing, right? This is what I've learned. Because it's been 12 years since we filmed Drag Race and it's still like something that I talk about weekly.
Yeah.
The comment section was kind of new. Like we were still kind of on Facebook back then, a bit of Instagram. It was a bit of a different world. There was definitely comments. It wasn't as toxic as I hear it's become now. But I remember waking up. I remember like the first and last hour of every day at that time was filled with scrolling through Twitter, scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through like the comments and like replying, like trying to justify something that somebody saw differently to the way that I experienced it. And so Darian said it best. At the time, she was like, I'm a big fan of television shows. I'm like a huge fan of different like reality shows. I watch them. I love them. She said, I've never gone to the Survivor Facebook page and left a comment positive or negative. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I've ever done that either. And it just sort of pointed out like that the majority of the audiences of these shows aren't actively in the comment section.
Completely, yeah.
And that the ideas that are conveyed in the comment section are actually probably like, they can be representative of the larger zeitgeist, but I have a feeling that they're disproportionately represented in the comments and that we're reading the comments and then we get this idea that everybody thinks this about us. But you know what I kind of actually realized? Like there are a lot of really passionate people who care a lot, but most people don't care. Most people are just like, oh, Courtney, yeah, she had the wings. Oh, I love those wings. And like, what season who were you on with? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I was obviously on season 6 with Bianca Del Rio and Adore Delano. Like, don't come to raw prawn with me. But actually, most people in the world, like, remember the feeling. It's that thing of like, people remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, the wings. Oh, they were so good. And that's about it. And then half the time they think I'm Derek Barry anyway. So I'll just power through that. Willem was having a fight with somebody on Instagram in DMs.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, why are you so mean to Mistress Isabel Brooks, this whole thing? And then the person was like, hang on, let me get the direct quote because it's quite humorous.
The Drag Race civil war that's taking place at the moment is
good.
It is quite enjoyable. I'm not one to take sides, but I'm on Willem's side.
I'm on Willem's side.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy Mistress Isabel Brooks. I enjoy the drama, to be honest. Like, I look at it objectively, and I was trying to say this to Willem. I was like, I know that for her, it's very real because, you know, there's this thing going on with Mistress and fans commenting things. And I was like, I just want to bring a little perspective. She's on the current season. Mm-hmm. You're on the lips of the zeitgeist once again. And like, if this was a corporation and there was board members and shareholders, like the stock would be going up.
Oh, yeah.
Like from a marketing perspective, this is like great branding.
Yeah.
And so like in a month, no one's going to care about this. And you'll have just been like, your brand will have been reinvigorated. But Willem doesn't see it like that because it's personal and she feels emotional about it. And people are like, is this a publicity stunt kind of thing? And I'm like, no, it's not.
I mean, if
it was, it's great.
Maybe should we just have a really public
argument?
I don't know how I'm not relevant enough for that to kick off. You have a fight with Crystal Versace. I guess that's relevant right now.
Oh yeah. What was the single digits? So Willem's having like an argument with somebody in the DMs, and this person writes, "Girl, this isn't your industry, and I think you know that. Who made fun of Courtney Act for not knowing what Stonewall was? It was you, correct? Don't be that person." I'm like, it was Derek Barry. I am not Diana Ross. Yeah, so that happens a lot. Why were we talking about that? Derek Barry, people coming up to you. Oh, people just remember the wings.
That was
at the end of the day.
Derek Barry. That was unexpected confusion. That happens
once every 3 weeks, somebody confuses me with Derek Barry.
I had one person once who was like, they were trying to book me and talking to another drag performer. And they said, "Oh, can we get that Micah?" And they were like, "Who's Micah?" And they were like, "Oh, what's their surname? It's Micah Petit. My cup of tea." Like they had invented a drag name for me because they just vaguely remembered
coffee,
tea, something. The hot beverage one. Like, and I kind of love
my
that.
cup of tea is kind of cute. You could have a family.
I've got Victoria scone and then marmalade. So we've got a little afternoon tea.
My cup of tea, like now auditioning.
Yeah, please. This is where it starts.
Yeah.
We're just expanding the drag family.
When I was 19 and had just started drag, Vanity Fair, my Wigs by Vanity, my drag sister and amazing drag artiste, I remember going into work. It was Friday night at the midnight shift. The show was called Devastated. And Vanity said to me, she was like, "Oh my God, you have really nailed that Britney look today." And I was like, I just got a compliment from like my idol. And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." She's like, "Wow. Yeah, that broad nose, doe eyes and a thick neck. You've really mastered the look." And I was like, So if at 19, Vanity suggested that I was Britney-esque, when Britney was just a whisper in the eye of a wispy on the eyelid of Derek Barry,
nice.
Then I can understand how people can get us confused.
Yeah, no, I see that. It is, though, once in a blue moon when I get called Taste, I'm like, I do respond to that and I say, "That's really offensive to Taste. Sorry, you can't be doing that. She's worked very hard to look that gorgeous and I look like a pleasant thumb of a human, so none of that." That's so funny. I also recently just got my first Wigs by Vanity.
What was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember the name of it because Pathia from Drag Race Canada picked it up for me. Thank you, Pathia.
Describe the colour or the style.
Gingery with like a bit of blonde.
That's
running
the Dallas Sunset.
The knowledge is right there.
I mean, I'm 50% owners in the company, so I have some skin in the game.
But I couldn't tell you who was a guest on this podcast last week, so like having that knowledge straight off the bat is very, very impressive to me. It's gorgeous though.
And the length?
Sort of down to here-ish with a lovely wave and a perma tease.
So it might be a new Vanity and Dallas Sunset.
Okay.
I'm just going to sound confident and no one will ever know.
No, please commit because I want to get that exact colour in a bob now. It's changed my life.
Yeah?
Like, Veronica Green from Drag Race Series 2 and 3 UK swore by a Wigs by Vanity. And I was like, it's just a wig, Veronica. Like, it was back, you knew what my eyebrows looked like in season 2. I didn't know what I was talking about. I knew nothing about drag, forgive me. But I was like, it's a wig. A wig's a wig, isn't it? Like, calm down.
But then
you
get a Wigs by Vanity.
And it's game changing.
It's because they're wigs that are made for drag queens by drag queens.
Yes.
And we started in like 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, you couldn't buy like lace front wigs.
No.
Now there's lots of people who are making drag wigs, but we were trying to make a one size fits most, big enough for a male head.
Mm-hmm.
With the permatease, with the volume, like all of the things that a drag queen wants.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, oh, you should specialize. You should make wigs for old ladies or wigs for, women who have lost their hair from cancer treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, no, we want to make wigs for drag queens. And people are like, oh no, that's not going to work. That's very specific.
Wow.
And now, 20 something years later, like RuPaul wears our wigs, like drag queens all around the world.
Does she?
Yeah. In
That's
fact,
fierce.
we have 2 colours.
Mm-hmm.
One's called The Shade of RuPaul and one's called Glamazon. And they are taken from RuPaul's actual wigs. Matthew Anderson and I got together and did a head wrap on Ru's Madame Tussauds wax figure bust to get like his exact measurements. And then I said, oh, is that like a 613 that he wears? And he was like, no. Like, because of Ru's complexion, a 613 like washes everything out. He needs something much more yellow. And he went to the cupboard and got out Ru's wigs and like cut off and like sticky taped up like a bit of Ru's hair, wig hair.
Yeah.
And so then we sent that to our factory and had those 2 colours made to make wigs originally for Ru. And then now they're available to you, the general public.
I'm gagged.
Right.
Actually iconic.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
that's incredible.
I don't know if we ever got the sample back or if we kept some. I hope we did. I hope it's like, we should have that in a frame on the wall. A lock of RuPaul's hair. Attach it to a voodoo doll. No.
I really genuinely revere Ru and everything that she's created. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's wild.
Just to
it's
think.
very easy to lose sight of the wood for the trees, whatever the saying is. But 17 years in, 18. Drag Race has proliferated around the world. Like I know everyone's like, oh, the market's saturated. And you're like, that's kind of amazing. Like there is Drag Race franchises all around the world from that Vaseline lens season 1 to where it is now.
Yeah.
And Ru is the driving force behind that. And I think as much as there's ups and downs and ebbs and flows and we're all allowed to have different feelings about different things and at different times, love or hate or loathe or whatever, different facets, you can't deny or not have reverence for Ru and RuPaul's Drag Race. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the legacy, the whole thing. It's absolutely incredible. I must say, Producer Poppy is lurking, which means that we've come to the end of the podcast, which is wild because I feel like we've been talking for 5 minutes.
Have we? I feel like we haven't even started yet.
Yeah, I know.
You had a question that you were worried about my answer.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to ask it?
No, that's fine. Oh. It was too controversial yet brave. After we've just spoken about Ru and her legacy and how we revere and love her, it's probably not an appropriate question to ask now, I think. I think you've answered it in a roundabout way.
Okay.
Yeah, which is lovely to hear because I still have a lot of positive feelings about doing Drag Race. Maybe the experience was hard and I wouldn't always, recommend that it's the best for everyone's mental health. The same as any reality show in general.
I think that's the thing is that maybe now looking back 12 years later, a little bit of space and time around the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, would I have liked to have, would all reality television show contestants love the knowledge that they have 12 years later and they went into it? Yeah. And would they love maybe like more support? And I think more support has been developed along the way. And as people knew better, they did better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very grateful. Like I think about when I was like, I don't think I should go on like Drag Race. Like I've already been on Australian Idol like 10 years ago. How embarrassing being on 2 reality shows. And now I've been on all of the reality shows. So I'm glad I got over that fear of like reality shame that maybe existed back in 2013, but certainly does not now, because my life's definitely, you know, a whole different thing because of Drag Race, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you just mentioned, like you've done every reality show, and like the fact that we've come towards the Poppy's like fully lurking, being like, come on. We didn't even talk about Big Brother, which is actually my favourite reality show of all time. And like gagged, like you had that experience of being there.
And Lavoie on the new season of Strictly.
I know.
That's thrilling. She's what Strictly aged audiences think of when they think of a drag queen.
Yes.
She's like the best version of the ghost of Lavoie.
Yeah, she's come to haunt us with her salsa. I totally agree. In the current climate that we live in, I think it's a good reminder in that sort of familiar, panto-esque, like Lily
she's
Savage comedy.
She's warm, she's glamorous.
Yeah.
She's not confronting when it comes to like gender or sexuality. She's just like a good time gal, and she's so entertaining.
Yeah, she's non-threatening.
And talented.
I mean, Taste was on the Strictly special, and I'm sure a lot of wives at home were a bit worried that their husbands wanted to like finger her, let's say.
Yeah, and the wives probably did too, let's be honest.
Exactly.
She's a hot slut.
Yeah, she very much is, and I think that's probably very confronting.
Goals.
Whereas, no shade, no one wants to finger Lavoie was the rest of that sentence. That's going to be the socials clip, isn't it? Wonderful. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's been delightful.
Not spoken about the one thing that I wanted to bring up was we always do a script at the end, which we're going to do now. And you've just been appearing in Diana the Mixtape, which is incredible and iconic.
Or as Rebecca Moore said on her social medias, "Hi guys, I'm off to Diana's Mixtape."
That was a very good impression.
Thank you. Look at these lovely big tits.
your next Snatch game, should you ever need one.
Rebecca Moore. Didn't somebody try to do her?
I think it might have been on Drag Race Holland.
Oh.
Yeah. It was actually Keta Minaj who was on UK versus the World Series 2. Did Rebecca Moore for Snatch Game. But did she do that for Snatch Game on Versus the World? No, because I sent her home. Sorry. Didn't make it there. Oops. So we've chosen a scene from The Crown.
Okay.
So, the scene.
Okay. Diana is alone in her room. A knock.
Nice sound effects.
Come.
Hello. Does that sound like Philip? Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yep.
Diana gets to her feet and curtsies.
Please don't. I came to see if you were all right. Do you know, I don't think I've ever seen inside this room. We can be a rough bunch in this family. I'm sure on occasion to a sensitive creature like you... That's a bit flirty. I'm sure on occasion to a sensitive creature like you, it must feel like... Well, let me ask. What does it feel like?
A cold, frozen tundra.
Well, poetic. Right. Like that, then.
An icy, dark, loveless cave with no light, no hope, anywhere. Not even in the faintest crack.
Say crack again, Diana.
Crack.
I see. He'll come around eventually. When he realizes he could never have the other one. The other one's Camilla, right?
Yeah.
That's rude.
Also the fact that Philip was like, just went straight to Charles.
Yeah.
Like his son.
Yeah, my son is the dark, icy crack.
The dark, icy crack.
Yeah, great. Would it help you to realize we all think he's quite mad?
That might have reassured me once, but I worry we're past that point now. Sir.
Oh, Philip notices the change in tone.
If this family can't give me the love and security that I feel I deserve, then I believe I have no option but to break away, officially, and find it myself.
Threatening. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Why not?
Let's just say I can't see it ending well for you.
I hope that isn't a threat, sir. Dum, dum, dum. Foreshadowing.
And then the royal family had her killed. Allegedly. Allegedly.
We didn't talk about Eurovision either.
Oh my God.
Which is where we saw each other last.
Literally. That was fun.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah.
We're in the building of Universal Music, and I want to go and beat down some music executive's door and pitch them this. I know I'm Australian. I don't want to represent the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I want to represent Australia.
Okay.
But I want a UK record label because they've got more money and they get Eurovision and they understand how it all works. I want to get a UK record label to sign me to represent Australia in Eurovision in like 2027. So we've got time because I'm busy hosting Eurovision on Australian television at the moment. So I can't do two things at once. But yeah, I just wanted to like make that pitch. When I walked in, I was like, Universal Music. I was like, I just got off the bus. I don't drink or eat or cuss.
All right. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now we're on a single cam. What's live? Tell us everything in a brief synopsis of things that we can enjoy, like your podcast.
Oh, yeah, my podcast, which is called Arno with Courtney Act.
10
episodes are out now. People like Willem, Tom Daly, Adore Delano, Jackie Beat, Katia, Parvati Shallow, Nicole Byer, lots of wonderful people as well.
Wait, Parvati's on an episode. I haven't seen that one.
She's on the latest one.
Love Survivor.
There you go. Yeah. What else? Going back to Australia, I don't think this has been announced yet, but I've got a children's book coming out this Christmas.
Congratulations.
At least in Australia. It's about anthropomorphic Australian native flowers.
Oh.
Yeah.
That feels very highbrow.
Well, it's like, it's for 4-year-olds, but like they're like cute little like flower people. And it's called Confetti in the Rainbow Garden.
Oh.
And Confetti's the lead character. It's not actual confetti. Or is it?
Gasp. That's lovely.
Yeah. No pantos for me this year. I did a first panto last year. That was fun.
Well, maybe next year. Maybe in 2027 after your Eurovision run.
Eurovision.
With someone in this building.
Yeah.
Who we're about to find.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for having me.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.